Ready when you are.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for sharing a part of your day with us. Because you can be anywhere doing anything, but you choose to be here with us. I honor your presence. I would like to introduce you to my esteemed co-host, the amazing, talented Sabrina Watson. Miss Watson.
Hi,
good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I am fine, thank you.
I think amazing and talented is you, Ha Tran, who is our author and our personal development coach. And today she's going to share with us focus, keeping you on focus. So let's talk about that, Ha. What's focus about? Hi, Mary Beth.
Welcome, Mary Beth. Good to have you here. Okay, so the last time, we talking about what is your story, and then we talking about the journey, the preparations. And my question to you at one point that I asked you that how you prepare for your vacations. And I think that the question before that I asked that what is your ultimate vacation ideal place, right?
Yes.
So the destination is just like your intended outcome. Whatever that you need to, the destination that you want to arrive to, you must focus to get there.
So I need to think about my destination in life, not just about a vacation, but where I want to end up in life.
That's correct, because life is a journey. And, regardless of in life or the location idea, we have to have the destination in mind. So in order to get there, we have to focus. Because when we're talking about the idea from point A to point B, that is the destinations. But again, very important that we need to understand where we are, the landscape of where we are, what you are doing, what do you have. We're talking about what have you accomplished so far. Because setting goal is to the idea of put your hope and dream on paper. And then, you, for every dream, every destination, it is a build up on. So the question is, I'm still always going back into where you are and where you are going. And then for that destination that we have a temporary station, the stopping point, but then you go on to a destinations.
Mm-hmm.
I have Mary Beth here. Mary Beth, would you like to come up on to the open seat? Because you and I would talk about that quite often.
Hi, Mary Beth, and there she is. Hello, hello.
This is Mary Beth.
She's having trouble getting on.
So now, what should we do?
There we go.
Oh, there she is. Hey, Mary Beth. Welcome. We are live with Coach Ha Tran. We're talking about keeping you on track in life and business, and today's topic is focus.
Okay, so right. Tell me, what is Mary Beth? Let's talk about what is your dream. What is the destination, the ultimate location, your chief aims? Where is it, and how you get there?
The dream that I have?
Mm-hmm. We're talking about the destination, and I know that you are a very focused person. So in order for you from where you are to get to where you needed to go, what is your approach?
Yeah, let me tell you, I've been working on this book that I've been writing for the last 2 years, right? Mm-hmm. And the first 6 months or so, it was really hard to stay on track and really figure out what I wanted to write. And one thing that really helped me was my writing coach said to me, he said, you know what? He said, you just need to give yourself permission to write whatever you want and just let it flow. And then later on, what you can do is you can focus
He's got a brochure. I think there's a map on the back of it.
What it is
I think
that,
get you close to where they're
put it together and put it, whatever you want to write.
Neighborhood. This is Highway 491. Take a left. Stand it till you run into 44. Take a right. Stand it till you run to 19. Go south, and then I think your map will take over down here somewhere. Okay, so.
Oh, sorry, we can hear you.
Sorry about that, you guys. I thought I had turned my mic off. I apologize.
So we thought that it is really in tune with what we're talking about. Mary Beth, sorry, keep on go on. So you talked to your coach, and he told you that you have to give your permission.
Right, and that helped me stay focused. Right there was to give myself permission to do what I needed to do instead of sitting in front of a blank screen. Just give myself permission to write whatever it was, no matter how bad it was, because nobody was going to read it except him to give me direction. And that kept me focused, and that kept me on track to the destination of actually getting my first book published.
Do you have any question for Mary Beth, Sabrina?
No, not at the moment. I do want to know what her book is. What's your book, Mary Beth?
It's on marriage. It's on how to have a lasting, long time marriage.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so now that is how because when you're asking yourself, give yourself a permission to write. That means you continue to write. You will not let anything to stop you. And but again, how it brings you to the idea of a laser focus, because your ultimate goal is to get your book done in whatever the day is. And now you sit here, you're thinking about, okay, I need to write. So can you help me to go through the process of how to be focused, stay on focus? And because to me is focus is follow one course until success. It doesn't mean that you just solely focus on that, because life just happened, something going on in your life. But again, you have to adapt, and you remind yourself to go back onto the journey that you're going.
Yeah, and again, it goes back to giving yourself permission, because sometimes when we get unfocused and those life things happen, they come up to where we have the phone rings, or we're going through our inbox and our email, or somebody comes in and interrupts you in the middle of your process. You have to adapt to that. And again, give yourself permission that it's okay. What we end up doing we end up beating ourselves up, and once we start beating ourselves up, that's when we lose focus. So it's not beating yourself up. It's saying it's okay to have these distractions, and then we get right back into it again.
But the key is to get back to it. Now, see,
right.
To me, if I from A to B, and I will have a list of the thing that in order for me to get to that place, there's a certain thing that I need to do. And, sometimes I have a list of 100 of something, and if during the day I get something, sometimes focus is doing something and also not to doing something. If something happened, and then I need to do it, and if I look into the list, will derail me from my focus, from my destinations, I will make the decision not to do it, because I think that is the power of focus.
I was just going to ask that question. So how do you stay focused?
How do I stay focused? Oh, that.
Go ahead.
As somebody who's somebody who used to be extremely focused and very organized, and in the last probably 8 years, as an entrepreneur, becoming ADHD, it's been really hard. But how do I stay focused? It's really just sitting down and doing the tasks that I'm supposed to do, and saying, okay, I need to get this done, and setting a time limit. If I set a time limit saying, okay, I need to have this particular task done by a certain time, I know I have to do it, because I have to pressure myself to get it done.
And Sabrina, I want to ask on that too, because see, sometimes that as a writer, she sit down to write something. If something not come up, for her to write, but you need to sit on the same spot almost every day. You do the doodling or whatever, but the discipline to really station yourself in one place and to do it. But see, for me, I'm a little bit tougher, Mary Beth, because you very gentle, very kind to yourself, and you acknowledge that, okay, if you are not focused, and then you said, okay, tomorrow is another day, let's get back on and focus on doing something. But to me, is focus is something is pretty much the state of mind. And I don't know where I read it, but they said that if it is the state of mind, that's something that you can cultivate. Now, see, if I look into where I'm at and then where I want to go, I can have hundreds of things that I need to do to get there. And every day I do my thing. I mean, for my own living as well as I pursue other interests. But if anything that out of my route, I will make the decision not to do it. That's how I stay on focus. Because because focus is a discipline too.
Yes, I think it's very difficult to stay on focus when you're on any task, really. I have trouble. I know that's one of the issues that I have is there's distractions during the day, and I know I've got a list, but I end up writing 50 lists on 50 notepads, and then I have to compile the notepads to find my list to get back to wherever I was going or whatever I was supposed to be doing.
But the passion need to kick in, because you cannot do something against your interests, your passions. And again, when you're talking about, okay, to get one client today, or to go to the mall, get the dress for the wedding, and that's something different, but something that really you're talking about your destination. It's something have to be serve your purpose. You must have some purpose in mind, because you need all that. Because if you don't, somebody said that the emotional part of doing something is just like a big fat elephant that weighs 8,000 tons, and the engine that the rider, and the rider can carry the elephant as far as the elephant willing to, but if the elephant sits still, the engine won't won't do any good.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we're talking about it have to be the matter of your heart, your passion, what you believe in, and your purpose. So, and before we go any further, at the courtesy of get on our blab, Mary Beth, tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Sure. Well, I live here in Hobe Sound, Florida. I am a licensed clinical social worker, and I have been for the last 20 years. I work with a lot of people. I work with couples. I work with individuals. I work with groups. I do a lot of teaching on addictions, teaching on marriage and family, teaching on goal setting. You name it, I teach it. Have worked in many different areas. Worked in domestic violence. Worked in addictions. Worked with the Department of the Navy. Worked with the Department of the Air Force. I've kind of what I call a jack of all trades. But I love what I do. I have 2 kids. They're adults now, though.
Thank God for that, right?
What's that?
Thank God for that, right?
I'm sorry, you were breaking up.
I said, thank God for that they're grown up.
They're grown up. That's right. Now it's my turn.
I learned that from Sabrina. She is very good at networking, and she always extends the courtesy to the people come in her way or get into her lab. That's why such a pleasure, to be able to asking you to share your line of work, as well as if you have a website, right? Information you can type in the sidebar, in case somebody want to looking for you.
I'm wondering if my internet connection isn't working very good because both of you guys are kind of breaking up and I can't even hear you. So it might be my end.
Can you hear her okay? Because I'm hear her.
I can hear her fine, yes.
You can hear me fine?
Yep,
yes.
I can hear you fine. Mm-hmm.
How about hi? Is she breaking up a little?
Not for me, no.
Okay, it must be on my end. I bet you it's my internet connection. I'll have to figure this out. So because both of you are breaking up on my end.
Wow.
Well, I have to tell you, and I don't know if you do this, Ha, but I went online and I bought like a 100-foot Ethernet cord, just a cheap one. And when I'm online for something, I plug it in.
You what?
I plug in my computer to my modem when I'm online.
Yeah, I don't have a plug-in.
I went online and bought an Ethernet cord just for that reason. So
yeah, I may have to do that.
Yeah, we have to do that. Now, Sabrina, tell us, what do you do in order for you to stay focused? What do you need? Do you trust yourself that you can discipline enough to do it, or do you need anything outside, another external reason to help you stay focused?
If I don't schedule it, it doesn't happen. So I have to schedule things every single day so that I make sure they happen. That's the only way I have to keep myself in focus, is I schedule it. I literally schedule in my time with family even. Otherwise I can't. I'm just out of control all over the place.
I believe in that too. Mary Beth, what about you?
What was that again?
What do you do to help you stay focused? Sabrina said that she have to schedule everything.
Everything, including my time with family.
I have a appointment book, and I schedule every hour on the hour, because just like I do with clients. So if I have clients, I have to show up. So if I schedule something for myself, such as writing, which actually I scheduled right now, but I got a little unfocused.
Yeah.
But I'm here. But I have to schedule all of that.
Thank you for hanging out with us. Now, see, go ahead.
I find that I double book myself sometimes, and I'll be like, "Oops, I can't do that."
I do that.
If I don't have my appointment book with me.
See, Sabrina and Mary Beth, the way I do it, let's say that if I used to write a list of to-do thing the night before. For instance, that I will set out to get something done and said, okay, if I need to get it done for tomorrow, so I what do I need to do? Who do I need to call? Whatever that is. And then when I have that list, and the next morning, I will work my plan. I work on that schedule, because that will keep me focused. Because like I said, that's coming from the discipline. And then if I want to get it done, I have to stay on focus and have to stay on my plan, and I work my plan. Having said that, of course there is something unexpected, that something that I need to plan, not planning for, but I can adapt to it. For instance, that last night that my son played, and then he fell and he broke his arm, and and I love my grandkids, but if I have my obligation, for instance, if I meet with you or you, I will keep my appointment, and when I'm done with that, I will run to my grandkids. I will stay by the hospital. that. That what my family is, it's everything to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So now, and again, when we're talking about the discipline, our goal have to be big. Our desire have to be bigger than our our reason, to stopping us, because it just like the whole vista have to be very enticing, very inviting, and then keep us going to get there. Be- be- I think that everything when you go through life, if somebody or come in interrupt your schedule, you can do a few things. You can block. For instance, if I will have a sign. I said, okay, I have the meeting or I have something. Do not disturb. But when the time that I'm free, that I can schedule my time to be disturbed and to talking about. But I do whatever that I will follow. I will follow up, follow through. That is who I am. If I say, I jump all over places. Like Sabrina, one day she talking about her loyalty to the fall, that she just like very loyalty, and to me too. My commitment, my loyalty is intact. I don't care whoever say what any reason out there. When I make a promise to deliver, a promise to keep. It is not a promise just to make you shut up and go away and for me to do my thing.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And if you make your promises, then you should keep them.
Yes, because that who I am, that where I coming from. A promise is a promise to keep. A promise is a promise to deliver. That's my mantra.
Mm-hmm.
So a goal for me is a promise to myself. I promise myself the destination, the intended outcome, that what the commitment, the promise I make to myself. And of all people, you, including myself, deserve to be delivered. I kept my promise to myself, just like I kept my promise to you.
Yep.
And that the power of discipline coming from, and that the focus coming from.
Mm-hmm. So what do you do, how to keep yourself on track?
I again, like I said, I have a vision board. The giant thing that I put on, the thing that I need to do, or what is the desire destination I want to arrive to. And from where I am to that place, I might miscalculate it, but I certainly attempt to make some calculation from where I am by the time I get there, with what I have, how much time do I need to get there. And I keep on going, because, if I ever stumble, fall down, I always pick myself up and keep on going. Because I think that if I keep on going, maybe I get not there. I may not get there yet. To a lot of people, maybe I fail of doing something, but in my heart, I know that the matter of time I get it. Because when I fail, that when I just fall up and crawl in the hole somewhere and not get up doing it, when I fall down, I pick myself up and continue my journey, and I know that I will get there. Does it make sense?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that Mary Beth is a little bit more, because when writing is a part of creativity, a creative of the mindset, and to keep yourself disciplined and to write one chapter after a chapter. So how is your writing process? How can it keep you stay on focus, stay on point?
Can you repeat that again? Because I think my internet
writing is a part of our creativity. The mindset is a little bit different. I don't know that I think it's different. How and what you do to keep you stay on focus and stay on point. You know, I mean, just like whatever that the idea that you want to have, and what is your approach? What is your process?
I usually have a certain time of day where I sit down, and it's become a habit. Again, focus is really a habit that you ingrain in you, and by having a certain time every single day to sit down and go, okay, I'm gonna just write, and whatever I write, it could be a sentence, it could be a couple paragraphs, it could be a page, or it could be a chapter. And it's being okay with whatever it is that you do, but it's sitting down the same time every single day and doing it. And when you do that, it starts to progress. Writing is a progressive, activity.
Mary Beth, that is the process, but do you have a setting goal that like your book will be done in 30 days, 2 years, 15 months? Do you have to set your goal of the...
Yeah, I had a goal to have this done a year and a half ago.
Oh, and wow.
It's taking as long as it's taking because for me, I want it done correctly. I want it done the proper way. And it's taking as long as it's taking because you have to go through different versions. Right now I'm on my second. It took me a year to write the first draft from start to finish, the very first draft, and it's taken me another 6 months just to write the second draft. And the second draft was a full, complete rewrite. I'm almost finished with that. And then the next process will go quicker. Hoping to have this, my goal is to have this published by the beginning of next year. Wanted it by the end of this year, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Again, I don't want to push it, but I don't want to hold it back either.
So if I understand correctly, your process is you give yourself a deadline to done your first draft, and then you will give yourself some time to finish the second one, and then some time to finish your final editing.
Yeah, my deadline for the second rewrite was actually August, and it's taken me. I'll probably be done by the end of October, hopefully. I'm a slow writer, but it gets done. Again, when I sit down every day and just do a little at a time, I do what I can.
Okay, here I will ask you a question. It kind of not in the focus area anymore, but here's the questions. To a lot of people, they said that if you have some idea, you need to get out right away because sometime that by the time you finish, you get out. The people are in the market on the Amazon flooded with the same book, the same idea, the same project. What do you say to that? Do you ever concern that, okay, I need to get out now because the urgency? Oh, that is the question. Do you ever put the urgency into your goal, into your process?
I'm sorry, I'm probably going to have to drop off because I can't hear anything. Obviously my internet connection isn't picking up the audio properly. It's really garbled. I can't hear you.
Can I click you off and then you try to get on and maybe try it? If it's not,
come back on. I'll try it.
Okay.
I need to check.
Okay. Okay, Sabrina.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we're talking about focus. Everybody have a different ways to think and to focus, but the bottom line is the focus that you have to stay on track to get from point A to point B.
Mm-hmm.
That you cannot derail or you cannot take the detours. Like if you go on the highway, and then when some roadblock, and then you have to take the exit, and then you go out there and you see, oh, there is a fair, or there is a flea market, or there is a something, and you stay there too long. That's not good. I mean. That's what I'm talking about. Sometimes let life get in your way, then you have to get off, but you must get on in order for you to continue your journey. So tell me, at one point that in your life, you get in some of your, do you recall that in your life some journey, some destination that you abandoned because you didn't follow through, or something just happened, or you start to redirect your directions?
You mean when I fail at something?
No, I don't say fail, because see, I think that sometimes you redirect, because see, that is smart way to do it. You stay focused to doing something, but if when you do thing for some time, you review. After that, you have to review it, and then you have to reset it, and you have to recorrect it. How often that you experiencing that?
Well, I experience it every few months.
Okay. Would you share with us?
You mean
or
like
anything that I can do to help you with?
Well, it's just like my online journey. I started out wanting to be a social media manager. And then after I dove into that for 6 or 8 months and spent a ton of money doing it, I realized that I really didn't like it. And I was going to have to continue to spend too much time training and learning. So then I switched to building websites. And then I switched to helping people with, that need to do it yourself help. Then I switched to, I'm the guy that somebody says, oh, it's Sabrina. You've been the cab driver and the bus driver and the waitress. And so what is it you're doing today? That's me. Or that's always been me.
But if I hear you correctly, you pretty much stay on the on your track. You just widen your track because you didn't get in the internet connection, the business, and then now you decided to be a dress designer or something. That's an entire difference, because you pretty much stayed in your gift, your talent.
Well, right? I have something that I'm focused on pretty heavily right now. Yes. And I'm definitely trying to stay focused. But yeah, there's a lot of things that happen to get you sidetracked and go in a different direction. Hey, Steve Henry, come join us.
Hi, Stephen. Oh, thank you. That our tendency to run after the shining object.
Oh, that's one of Stephen Henry's favorite sayings. Don't chase shiny objects. You're going to have to ask him about that. Steve, we're talking about chasing shiny objects.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
You're the perfect person to happen to pop into that conversation. It is
so easy. Yeah, well, I've done it enough in my life. It is so easy to get hooked on the next best thing, and you keep looking for that magic solution, and each next one is going to do it for you, and then it doesn't, or it gets left to the side. I mean, I've still got things on my hard drive from years ago that were going to be the best solution, only I never used them. Do you think
that's because you lose your focus? So you chase a new shiny object, or do you think you realize that it's not necessarily a good item?
Well, yeah, I think it's partly that. It's obviously losing focus. If you stayed focused on that thing, you would do something with it, and then you could decide whether you keep it or discard it, and that would be a choice, which would mean that you're not just running on to the next item, you're actually choosing to move on. But I think the biggest problem, I've looked at this and I've tried to figure it out, and I think I have control of it now. And I think for me, the biggest problem is that at one time I had thoroughly bought into the marketing meme of, you know, the people that were selling the stuff to me, because I was in the business of selling stuff to people. So they must be right. They must be selling me something, and I listened to them and I believed them. And I was in the habit of doing that. And especially in the digital world, I very quickly discovered, I mean, you can kick tires on a car. You can take it for a test drive. You can slip by your mechanic and have him throw the computer on it and check to see how things are doing. And, you know, he can listen to it, and his expert ear will tell you whether it's a good car or you should actually not take this one. But you can't do that with a lot of digital stuff. And so I very quickly found that there were a lot of shysters out there and charlatans and people who just didn't know. Yeah, and so I recognized that a lot of the shiny objects were just buffed up with a polishing cloth, maybe one of those sham wows, you know, that you could polish everything with. And it very quickly became obvious to me that there was a lack of quality. And because I like value, I grudgingly part with my money for stuff, so I like to get value for what I pay. And I'm not looking for, you know, super duper bargains. I'll take them if they come along. I'm just looking for, you know, a quid pro quo, a fair return, a win-win situation. Mm-hmm. I then became more picky about what I took. And of course, if you become more picky, then you want to use what you've got because you know it's good and you want to get it in place and share it.
Stephen, I don't know, you agree with me on this. I truly believe that you, Mary Beth, Sabrina, we all have a vast of knowledge about things going on. But again, a lot of people have exactly what we have, you know, maybe not exactly, but the same amount of knowledge. But again, they keep on searching, or they run after a new wisdom. You know, if we just embrace what we have and implement it, and that's a great thing. But, you know, because we have a tendency to run after the shining object. And, you know, and not to be, and there is with the technology today, you know, they can put in the color of the rainbow at some promising of the pot of gold, the end of the rainbow. And so, because we want it, we're looking for it, and we want so much to be true. And sometimes we even, you know, give the thinking or find all the data to support what is we want to believe, because it's so grand, you know, to have something that we believe in, it do happen, it come true. It's awesome, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that nails it. And I think there's a couple of things that come into play there. One, of course, is self-confidence. People may have the knowledge, but they don't have the self-confidence. They don't believe that the knowledge they have is worth something. It can be shared with others. But, you know, everybody, no matter what level you're on, can, you know, desire or seek or need guidance. And everybody, no matter what level you're on, can help somebody else. So, you know, you don't have to be lacking in confidence. There is something that you can do. But I think bigger than that, people are being sold a bill of goods online. They're being told that it's easier online. Making sales is no easier online than it is offline. And sales,
I think it's harder.
Well, maybe so, because you have to do the technology. We were just talking seconds ago about that. The technology can confound you. So it can be harder. But also, there's this whole mantra that's going on in the coaching community that I just totally object to. I you know, forgive me if there's coaches here and you're going to take exception to this, but I absolutely object to the phrase, just do it. Just do it. That's so wrong. You can't just do it. You have to learn it. You have to learn your craft. Then you can do it. And so, yeah, it's a good motivation to say, you know, be motivated, get out there, make it happen. Yeah, just do it. Do it. Don't sit back on your butt and do nothing. You have to do it, yes. But people aren't taking it that way. They're thinking that they can just step in and do it and it'll happen and it's easy. It takes work. I hate to tell you that, but if you're going to be a success, you got to work for a living. You know, people said, "Oh, don't take a job with somebody. Get in business for yourself. Never have to work. You know, be online. It's easy. You'll make loads of money, and you won't work." They're lying to you. Because either they're putting on a false persona, and that's a lie, or they're lying straight out to you. And when push comes to shove, you buy their magic system, their never before seen process that will do it all for you. Listen, if it would do it all for you, they'd be using it themselves and not sharing it with anybody. Come on.
Stephen, if somebody tell you that, you know, come and I have the formula, you just apply it, you can make $20,000 a week or something, run the opposite way. Mary Beth, we want to hear from you about the shining object.
Yeah, I have the formula. It's spelled WORK. Now, if you want the structure to make that happen, come and see me and we'll talk about it. But don't come looking for magic. Come looking for a system that actually makes it happen, that actually works.
No, I agree. Stephen, you are so right on. That's exactly what I say all the time. People get mad at me, but you know what? It is the truth. People don't like to hear the truth. As for shiny objects, actually in my office I have a squirrel. I have the squirrel syndrome. And I don't have it here because I'm home, but at my office I have that my husband had bought me this squirrel. And every time that I tend to get up and walk around, he used to go, because we used to work together in my office, and he would get the squirrel and he'd go, "Squirrel! Squirrel!" You know? It would mean, okay, I need to sit down, I need to refocus. But sometimes getting up helps me refocus. It's like going back to the whole writing thing, is that how do I stay focused? Sometimes if I write a paragraph or something, I have to get up to get my brain to, okay, what is it that I really want to say? And I have to wrap my brain around that. And sometimes getting up and walking around and doing something else helps me. And then I go back to it. The key is to go back. It's not to, okay, go squirrel or shiny object and just go, whoosh, but it's maybe to walk around, get up and do it, you know, do something else to, you know, bring yourself back to that place again, and then sit down and then do it. Because we get on overload. You know, we really do. We get on overload sometimes, and taking a break we must do from time to time.
Yeah, and I think that you're right. You know, coming back and doing it. You need to focus, take a break, get your focus, come back, dig into it. And as I say, you need to learn it before you do it. So if you don't have the skill, go out and find it. Get somebody to teach you. There's all kinds of people that will teach you. I was just talking to somebody yesterday and about what happened to me. You know, years ago when home computers first started around, people would come to me because I seemed to know something about them and they'd want help with things. And I'd go over to their house to help them. And the biggest question that I got from people was, where's the homework button? They bought the computer to do their kids' homework, and they said, what do my kids press to do homework? Well, you know, there isn't such a thing as homework. There's math, geography, whatever it is. So you need the program. And in those days, there weren't a lot of homework-based programs. But you need the right application, the right program to do the thing that you want to do. So, but it was hard to get people to understand the concept of a computer, that it wasn't some magic thing that you talked into or typed a couple of keys and it would do all the work for you. The other thing that would happen, I get to the person's home when something wasn't working. They couldn't figure out how to install something or get something or do something. And every single one of them, I don't think I ever went to a home where they didn't have the latest screensaver. Screensavers were bigger than wallpaper in those days. We now just put wallpaper. We don't have to save our screens. You had screensavers that used to animate when if you were away from the keyboard. I remember those. You know, for more than 30 seconds, the screen would animate somehow. And I don't even know if Windows still comes with that. Up until Vista, they did come with that. But The reason for that was that the old cathode ray monitors would burn in on the screen if you left a static picture on it, and that image would be there as a ghost image behind anything you were trying to do. Well, now with the new digital screens, they don't burn in, so it's okay. But they would always have the latest, whoever the hunk on TV was, or the greatest actor or singer or whoever their favorite was, they would have their screensaver up. So they knew how to, they know how to go online and download the screensaver or go down to the computer store and get it on disk and install it, but they didn't know how to copy and paste. It amazes me how many people today on computers that have been on computers for a long time don't know how to copy and paste. I mean, that's probably, computer 101, the first thing you need to learn if you're going to use a computer online, copy and paste. They have no idea how to do it. Just my own beef about that stuff.
We are the people that we sit here and we have a tough conversation because we dare to look in and to see what is we just look deep and to see the bottom of the issue is because see some people they just chasing after the thing that because it's new, because it's current. So here I know that we have maybe roughly about 15 minutes. So Stephen, tell us how you avoid and what is the cure for stop running after the shining object. Mary Beth, that will be you next.
Well, I think focus is part of it, but I just wrote a blog post a little while ago about focus, and focus isn't just...
Where's that post, Steve? I'll share it.
I think it's on From Website to Wealth. If you go into the blog there and search the word focus, it'll come up. But I forget. I've got too many blogs and I guest post too often. I should have had that before referencing it. But the concept of focus to most people means one thing, just straight down the center line, man, you're on focus. And that's good, and we have to understand focus starting from there. It's a good starting point. But if you think of some of the real successful people in the world, Jeff Bezos at Amazon, he doesn't just focus on, he wanted to build the biggest bookstore in the world. And he did, but he didn't just focus on hardcover books or paperback books. He developed the Kindle because he recognized digital books were going to be a big thing. He wanted to become a big player in that, and the Kindle, of course, is an awesome item. So that's
I think it's the biggest player, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. He's the biggest player in everything, but he doesn't just. He's competing with eBay now. eBay was the biggest, opportunity, the biggest marketplace for people to sell their stuff. Amazon is now making it easy for people to sell their stuff through Amazon. And, there's just a whole lot of players. Sam Walton started out with a hardware store and a general goods store and a few things, but he didn't just limit to that. He became, the largest retailer in the world by dealing with all kinds of products, branched out into foods, branched out into bulk box stores with Sam's Club and all these different things that have made them a very big success. Who's the guy with Virgin Airlines?
Richard Branson.
Richard Branson. Yeah, Branson. There's another guy. I couldn't remember his name, but I could remember Virgin Airlines. But he's not just an airline. If you look into his company holdings, he's all over the map on stuff because they focus on success and they do the things that they learn. They learn their craft. They learn the things that work for success first, and they create that success with one thing, and then they can branch out into other things. Those rules apply to a variety of things, and not always in the same genre. Amazon isn't just books anymore. I've got a desk chair that I bought on Amazon. So I can read my books in a nice desk chair, but there's so many different things. Buy shoes. They bought a shoe company to have a brand. Think about that. So that's
in another word, that you have to focus to follow up, follow through. However, you have to elevate it, your awareness to see what's
Yes.
around you. Because see, the only ways that you can tumble on something because you actually do something else.
Yeah, and failure's not a problem. People often don't act because they're afraid of failure. A friend of mine says that FEAR, F-E-A-R, is an acronym for false evidence appearing real. That most of the things we fear never come to play. Think about it. You worry about stuff, and then it turns out okay. Most of the things, studies have been done, something like 97% of the things we fear or worry about never happen. So we're wasting a lot of time on fear. Get fear out of your life. Get focus. And focus going forward. Yeah.
Miss Mary Beth, your squirrel or a shining object? Mary Beth.
Yes.
Your take on that, please.
On
shining object. What is how do you do to avoid it and to get rid of it?
I like Nerd Picker's photo. Forget everything and run, or face everything and rise.
Yeah, I like that too. I've heard of that a long time ago. To get rid of the shiny object, I don't think that you can ever get rid of the shiny objects.
Can you tame it?
You can. I think you should embrace the shiny objects instead of. See, we always want to eliminate things instead of embrace things. You know what I'm saying? Instead of, I want to touch a little bit on what Stephen said about working in the area of your expertise or area of what you do best, because that's what focus really is about. And I totally agree on that 100%, is that we get frustrated, and that's why shiny objects come up, is when we don't understand or don't know really what we're doing. We're just kind of doing it just to do it, and then we expect these results, or we expect great things. But sometimes we struggle because not everybody we're not good at all things. That's why we were created, the way that we were created. We have our own special gifts. We have our own special things that we're good at. We should stay in that lane and do those things. And when we do those things, those shiny objects will kind of go away. They'll dissipate more. They won't show up as much if we're working in our area of what we're good at, in our area of gifts.
I agree with that fully. And, I use the phrase, hire it done. If you can't do it yourself, hire it done. And sometimes, even when you can do it yourself, if it's not in that lane, as Mary Beth said, in your focus lane, then you're better off to hire it done, because if you don't, it'll take away from that focus, that direction you really want to go. Websites are a good example of that. I know Sabrina creates websites, and a lot of people will create their own website. And if all you're going to do is put up a blog, that's okay. Sabrina has a great site called Do It Yourself Marketplace, where you can get a lot of help on setting up your own website, your own WordPress site for free. And that's cool. And so if you're going to set up your own blog and that's all you want to do, or just a little display website, go ahead and learn and do it yourself and stumble through it. It won't take you too long. It's pretty easy these days with WordPress. But really, if you want a good website, if you want a website as a foundation to your business, and it should be, to your online presence, you should start with your website, not Facebook, not LinkedIn, not whatever.
Agreed.
I agree.
Your own website, your own domain name, you control it. That's the foundation, not some business that's going to change the rules and suddenly you've got to pay for advertising that you did for free or whatever, or they lock out people or they shut down accounts. You want your own place where you can always be and always refer. So if that's the case, and you want a good website, whatever your business, why learn how to do all that yourself, which isn't going to build your business unless you're going into the website business. Hire someone like Sabrina to create that website for you so you can spend the time doing the things that make you money instead of trying to back up and do all these things that you have to learn and struggle and probably won't do well anyway.
Because you're going to lose 10 times the money wasting the time. Yeah,
exactly. And so, I think that's important. I'm sorry?
Yeah, that's what keeps us stuck. Is mulling over the things that we don't know how to do, and that keeps us unfocused. That keeps us from doing what like you said, what we're good at doing.
Yeah, well, what's your strength? And Stephen just mentioned about the talent and the offer that Sabrina offered to everyone is it just like you make just like the currency it circulates. When you work on your best and then you hire somebody to do something you're not too good about that of doing, then you actually free yourself up to do more what you do best. Mm-hmm. And I think that is the idea of hire the people that they are professional of doing something. I can sit there and stare at the screen. It took me 3 months to do the website. Sabrina can go in there do it 3 days.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And another thing that I would bring up that I think really applies into focus and networking is that if you focus on your own business, you're going to make the money that you're going to be able to afford to hire things done. But also consider that if you have something of value to offer, network with people and exchange those services. And sometimes you'll find a single, one-to-one relationship where you can do some work for a person in exchange for something else. I've done those kind of relationships oftentimes. I will give any of my services in exchange for somebody else's services that I need. That just makes common sense. Yeah. And then, the other possibility too is that maybe you and I don't have something to trade. Maybe your services are not needed by me, but you need my services, or maybe I need your service, but you don't need mine. Then let's find a third person into the relationship so you can provide services to me, I can provide services to them, and they can provide services to you, and we all come out well. Or 4 or 5 or however many people it takes to make that circle work. And that's networking. And if you focus... if you focus on solutions, not only focusing on your business, but focusing on solutions for the things that are around your business, that just happens to be a solution.
Okay, Miss Sabrina, you're next. What is your challenge about the shining object, and what do you do to avoid it?
Well, I don't know if I can avoid it, but I'm definitely challenged when it comes to shiny objects. But I think that we all are challenged when it comes to shiny objects. And actually, Steve Henry was the first person who brought that to my attention well in excess of a year ago when we'd first met. He made a comment to me about chasing shiny objects. You can't always chase shiny objects. Otherwise, you're never going to hang on to any of your coins. So you actually said that to me once, Stephen, about 16 months ago. You just don't remember it. But I remember it, and it's always stuck in my mind. So...
I don't remember the exact phrase, but I remember our conversation because you were really into shiny objects.
I was. Well, and me, at that time, I was buying shiny objects faster than I could pay for them. So I have gotten much better in that sense. I've learned, but I'm not so sure that that's an easy lesson to learn. No. I also need to say, we are 12:30. So let's give your closing remarks and take this off the record.
Okay. And then you two don't go anywhere because I'm really intrigued. I love our conversation. Okay, before I stop the recording for this segment, to you and the people that want to replay it at the later time, I just want to remind you that it is your life. You are worth fighting for. Live your life with intention. Live your life with no regret. Let your vision guide you and let your heart lead the way. Thank you.